Okay. Have you ever gotten one of those emails that's like, check out my portfolio?
No.
And it's just a link to like a million projects.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I just end up scrolling and scrolling.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember what I saw.
It's like an information overload, right?
Totally. And you sent us some stuff about creating a portfolio, an excerpt from an essay called How to Create a Portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
So let's like really dive into that and figure out how to stand out
Absolutely.
without totally overwhelming people.
Yeah. And that essay really stresses the importance of knowing, like, what your purpose is.
Okay, so like it's not just throwing your best work up there.
Right.
Why is that so important, figuring out the purpose of your portfolio?
Well, think about each piece in your portfolio as an argument.
Oh, okay.
Like, why should somebody hire you?
Okay.
And are you trying to, I don't know, attract freelance clients?
Yeah.
Or are you aiming for a full-time job at, like, a specific company?
Oh, yeah.
The work you're going to show is very different.
I see, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Depending on what you're going for.
So before we even think about, like, platforms or what to include, we need to ask ourselves, what's the story that we want this to tell?
Exactly.
And once we've got that story, then we can figure out where to tell it.
Yeah, for sure. And the essay mentions, like, the usual personal websites, portfolio sites, even social media.
So many options.
Oh, right.
It seems like in my field, everyone has a website.
Yeah.
But I've also seen really cool portfolios on sites like Behance or whatever.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on choosing the right platform?
I think it depends on your field and how comfortable you are with technology.
Okay.
Like a personal website gives you all the control.
Yeah.
But it takes more time to set up and maintain.
Right, yeah.
But portfolio platforms, those have like a built-in audience.
Uh-huh.
They're easier to use, but you might not be able to customize them as much.
Yeah.
And then social media is great for informal showcasing.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like a photographer or an illustrator or something.
Right. So if someone is not so tech savvy, maybe a portfolio site is the way to go.
Definitely. That could be a good first step.
Yeah.
And then you can always like move to a personal website later.
Makes sense.
You're not stuck forever.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got our purpose, we've picked our platform. Now comes the fun part.
Yeah. Choosing the work.
Yeah, but the essay suggests like 5 to 15 pieces.
Yeah.
That seems kind of limited. Is that really enough?
Well, you want every single piece in your portfolio to be a strong argument for you.
Okay.
And instead of just like throwing everything in there, focus on curating.
Yeah.
Choosing the best work that's really going to line up with your goals.
So let's say I'm applying to be like a UX designer at a fintech startup or something.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't include that website I built for my friend's dog walking business.
Probably not the best choice.
Even if I'm proud of it.
Right. It's about showcasing the kind of work that you want to do more of.
Okay.
So if you had to choose like 5 pieces to show where you want to go with your career, what would those be?
That's a really good way to think about it.
Yeah.
I admit, I do want to include everything I've ever worked on.
Oh, I get it. It's hard to let go.
It is.
But trust me, less is more.
Okay.
You want your portfolio to be like a curated gallery.
Yeah.
Not just a big pile of stuff.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Less is more. It's like if you were curating an art show.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't hang up every painting you've ever made.
No, you'd choose the best ones.
The ones that really show your style.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got our best work picked out. But how do we make it really stand out? The essay talks about context.
Yeah, context is so important.
Like, it's not enough to just show the final product.
Right.
You have to explain the thinking behind it.
Exactly. You want to give people a behind-the-scenes look at how you work.
I've definitely seen those portfolios that are just like a bunch of pictures.
Oh, yeah.
With no explanation at all.
Just image after image.
Yeah, it's hard to get a sense of the person's skills from that.
Exactly. Like, you don't know how they think or how they solve problems.
Right.
So think about each piece as like a mini case study.
Okay.
Briefly describe the project goals, the challenges you faced, your role, and the solutions you came up with.
Oh, and don't forget the results.
Of course. That's super important.
Like, did your design actually increase conversions?
Yes.
Did your writing get more people engaged?
Those numbers are really persuasive.
Yeah, because anyone can say they're good.
Right. But the proof is in the results.
So even if the work is visual, like a photo or a design, a little bit of explanation goes a long way.
Yeah, it shows, what you're doing.
It's like telling a story around each piece.
Exactly. And all those stories together tell a bigger story about you.
About your whole career.
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of careers, the essay talks about range versus relevance.
Ah, that's a tricky one.
How do we find the right balance there?
It's tempting to show that you can do everything.
Yeah, I want to show I'm versatile.
Right, but if you're going after a specific job or a specific client, it's better to focus on the skills they need.
So if they need a web designer, they don't need to see my knitting projects.
Probably not, unless it's a yarn company.
Oh, true. But what if you're just starting out and you want to show you can do different things?
That's a good point.
Is it still better to specialize?
I think you can still show a range.
Okay.
But highlight the skills that connect the projects.
Oh, so like I might have done web design, illustration, video editing.
Yeah.
Those are all different, but they all need creativity.
Exactly.
And visual skills.
And an understanding of what users want.
So you're showing them you have those core skills.
Exactly.
Even if the work looks different on the surface.
Right. It's all about telling a story.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Definitely.
So the portfolio should tell a story.
Yes.
Not just be a random collection.
A curated collection.
Yes. Okay, so we've talked about choosing the work, explaining it, showing our range. What about the technical stuff?
Oh, yeah, like listing your skills.
Yeah. I always want to list every software I've ever used.
I think we've all been there.
Like, I know how to use the microwave. It's a skill.
Well, maybe not that one.
Okay, but seriously, how do we choose which skills to list?
Just like with the projects, you want to be selective.
Okay.
Focus on the skills that are most relevant to the work you want to do.
Okay, so if I'm a graphic designer who does branding, no one cares if I can use Excel.
Unless you're designing spreadsheets, maybe.
Okay, good point.
You want to highlight the skills that make you the perfect person for the job.
I see.
The things that make you stand out.
And I like that the essay mentions soft skills, too.
Oh, yeah, those are so important.
Like communication, teamwork, problem solving.
Absolutely. Those are essential in any job.
It's not just about technical skills anymore.
Right. You got to be able to work with people.
So we've got our amazing work, our explanations, our killer skills list. Now, what about the actual experience of using the portfolio?
Oh, yeah. The user experience, that's key.
You could have the best content in the world. But if it's hard to use...
Nobody's going to stick around.
Exactly. People will just leave.
It's got to be easy to navigate.
Yeah.
Visually appealing and consistent with your brand.
I get frustrated when a portfolio site is slow or doesn't work on my phone.
Oh, yeah. I hate that.
It makes me think they don't care about the details.
It's a bad sign.
So mobile friendliness is super important these days.
Absolutely. It's got to look good on all devices.
Test it on everything.
Your phone, your tablet, your laptop.
Even your grandma's old computer.
If you have to.
You want everyone to have a good experience.
Exactly, no matter what they're using to view it.
You know, it's funny. I always thought of a portfolio as like a finished thing. Like once I have it, I'm done.
Right.
But you're making it sound more like a process.
Well, yeah. I mean, it changes as you change. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like if we could go back and see portfolios from like famous people from years ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You'd see how they evolved.
Yeah, like a snapshot in time.
Exactly. Like you could see what was important to them then.
How their style changed.
Exactly.
So even the stuff we don't include says something about us.
Totally. And as you add new work, it's a chance to think about how you've grown.
Oh. Okay, not just, here's a cool thing I did.
Right. More like, how has my work changed?
Yeah.
What am I better at now?
So it's like presenting the best version of ourselves.
Exactly. The version you want people to see.
And that's always changing.
That's why you got to revisit your portfolio.
Keep it updated.
It's not a one-time thing. It's a living document.
That makes sense. Which brings us back to purpose. If it's telling a story, what kind of story works best?
I think it depends on who you're talking to.
Okay, like your audience.
Right. Are you talking to clients who want a specific look?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you trying to impress a company that's known for being innovative or something?
So even if my work is good, if it's not what they're looking for,
it won't be effective.
It's got to be a match.
Exactly. Your skills and their needs.
Okay, so we got to think about who we're sharing it with.
Yeah.
And how we're telling our story.
Exactly. It's all connected.
This has been so helpful.
Glad to hear it.
We've covered so much.
Purpose, platform, content.
All that good stuff.
Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on?
Before we wrap up, any final advice for our listeners out there?
I think the big takeaway is this.
Okay, I'm listening.
Your portfolio is more than just a collection of work.
Okay.
It's a story about your journey.
Oh, I like that.
Make it one worth telling.
That's a great way to put it.
Nice.
And it reminds us that it's not just about skills.
Right.
It's about passion, vision.
Sharing your unique perspective.
Exactly. Thanks for taking us on this deep dive.
My pleasure. Always happy to chat about portfolios.